Hi you guys, it's Mrs. Layous. Today you are designing a pumpkin. So this is what your packet looks like. So I just kind of want to explain it because there's lots of papers inside. So it says design a pumpkin, and this just kind of shows you a brief step-by-step. If you want to make it a game, what you can do is if you have dice at home, you can go ahead and roll, and every time you roll, you're going to do the pattern you chose. Each pattern will go in each section of your pumpkin. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. So for example, if I rolled the dice and I rolled a 1, my first section, I'm going to go ahead and choose one of these patterns, okay, which would be roll 1 and I got a 1. So this would be my first pattern. On roll 2, let's say I rolled a 3, I would have to do this pattern because it's roll 2 and I rolled a 3. So this little pattern would be repeated throughout this whole section. If you want to do it that way and make it fun, you absolutely can. Otherwise, you can just pick and you can do whatever design you want in each section. Then on the next page, you're going to practice the patterns because this is an art lesson on patterns. And so this is a practice page for you. Then you have your actual pumpkin where you're going to do your final design and then just a fun little activity on the back, okay? So let's go ahead and practice the patterns. And I'm just going to do it in pencil first. I'm going to go ahead and do choose a pattern. So I'm going to choose some patterns I might like to do. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with this one right here. I'm going to practice this pattern. Notice it's the same pattern repeated, and I would repeat it through the whole section on my pumpkin. So it looks like this. I think there were 3 circles. And I would just practice it. Notice how I definitely need practice. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's always good to practice a little bit. And you'll see that each time you practice, you might come out with the design for this pattern. So I feel pretty good about that pattern. So I think I'll go ahead and do that for my first section here. Now notice that my pumpkin, it kind of curves. So you can either go with the curve. So I could go like this. And kind of curve it along. And then I'm just going to repeat that until I get through the whole section. Oops. And I messed up there, so that's why I'm doing it in pencil first. Okay. So now that I know that I've got this section at least done, I'm just going to do example, oopsie, and I did that wrong. I'm just going to do an example of what you do for each section. So always start with pencil after you've done a practice. I think Mrs. Layous needed more practice on this one. And then I'll show you what to do after that. So bear with me here. Getting kind of small, so I might just do 2 circles there and maybe just 1 at the bottom. Okay, so again, once you've completed all your chosen patterns, practice here first, then you can put it on your pumpkin. I want you to outline the pattern first. So I'm going to go ahead and outline the pattern, and you need to do it in a marker. If you don't have a marker, crayon is okay, but you want it to be really bolded. You want each of the pattern lines to be very bolded. You can choose any color you want. I'm going to do orange for this first section, and then I might choose another color for my other section. And then once you go through and you've outlined each section, and again, you're just outlining the pattern in marker, then you're going to go through and you have options. You have 2 options based on what materials you have at home. Okay. So if you have a paintbrush at home, you can get your paintbrush wet with water and go through and wet it with water, and this orange marker will lightly bleed through that section. If you don't have a paintbrush at home, and again, just with water, then you can just go ahead and fill in the white space with the same color, but then it needs to be in colored pencil, right? Or so if you did the outline in marker or crayon, that's fine, but then the other part needs to be a lighter version of that color, and I'm going to do colored pencil. So notice it's just very lightly shaded for the background. Okay, and you're going to do the same color, but just a lighter shade. Okay, and you guys are going to repeat that for your chosen pattern, your chosen color. You can go ahead and do the stem any color you want. I think I'll go ahead and outline it in brown. And then again, because I'm outlining in marker, I'll go through and color it in with a brown colored pencil. Or if you have a paintbrush, just get that paintbrush wet with water. And if you just dip it with water and start to go over it, it'll start to bleed through and it'll look really pretty. Now, that's of course if you have a paintbrush. But I don't have a paintbrush with me at the moment, so I'm just going to do colored pencil. Okay, so very easy, very fun. And I want you guys to bring these back so we can hang them up and decorate our room for this pumpkin season we're in. Okay? All right, you guys, have fun designing your pumpkins. Bring them to school so we can see them, and I will talk to you later.